to Penn and Teller Fool Us. Now, tonight we will see some of the best magicians in the world. And the fun part is you'll see it all exactly as it happens. It's like Miley Cyrus twerking. It's all out there for everyone to enjoy. So you can see everything, but the eyes that matter most belong to the stars of our shows. There are 4 beady eyes and just 1 booming voice. Here they are. It's the fabulous Penn and Teller. As always. Now, people who have seen this show will know that when you talk to the acts after they've performed, you're talking a kind of code. It's a sort of a magician's language you're using, so you don't give away too much for the rest of us and spoil similar tricks in the future, I guess. How many of these kind of secret little kind of ways of describing things do you know?
We're kind of making them up as we go. You know, our goal is to give an amateur magician or maybe children who are studying magic enough information that they can search around and dig around and go in their libraries and then go back and watch it again to figure out what really went on. But those who want to just watch a live magic show done real can also do that without having the illusion crumble. So we're trying to walk a little bit of a tight wire there.
And you're doing it fantastically. Teller, I would ask you a question, but I know, and you know what it's like. Once he starts talking, he never shuts up. So maybe we'll talk later instead. If you'd like to take your seats, gentlemen, this show can begin. Penn and Teller, ladies and gentlemen. It's time to start the show. Let's meet our first magician.
Hi, I'm Kostya Kimlat, a business-focused magician specializing in sleight-of-hand magic. My company trains and books magicians around the world for all kinds of corporate events. Over the years, I started to see the connections between the art of magic and the craft of business. A sale, just like a magic trick, happens in the customer's mind. It's all about perception. And that means human interaction. How do we communicate? Those are the real secrets of magic. Great magic doesn't strive to fool you so that you believe in something. Great magic reminds you to be careful about what you believe in. And that's why it can be so helpful to think like a magician.
Next performer has been known to teach businessmen to think like a magician, like they need any help in making people's money disappear. Will you please welcome Kostya Kimlat.
Thank you very, very much. It's an absolute pleasure to be here with all of you in the theater and everyone watching at home. Penn, Teller, I'd like to show you something special using a pack of playing cards. Will you please join me so you can watch closely? Everyone welcome Penn and Teller. All right, gentlemen. What a pleasure. So nice, so nice. So please have a seat, relax. In a moment, you're going to help me shuffle these cards. Now, I found that how people shuffle cards depends on which part of the world they've come from. Now, we have 52 playing cards. We've taken the jokers out. Now, I don't know if you have a preferred way of shuffling the cards, but I'd like to give you about half the cards. And I'd like you to mix those up as much as you like. And you can mix them up too. Maybe you can help me do this. Can you wash them here on the table like this? Yeah. Now, the hardest part, of course, is collecting all those cards. So we're going to square all of these cards up. And you feel those are pretty well shuffled for yourself as well? Thank you, Teller. I'm going to spread these face up. And then I'm going to do kind of a crazy shuffle, okay? I'm going to turn these face down. And I'm going to shuffle them together. But before I push them in, I want you to see the state that they're in. All right? Very well mixed up. And then, Teller, if you would take your hand and place it like this for me, if you would. Yeah. And then can you place your hand, place it above, and press the cards together. That way you not only see them and all the way down the line, you actually feel them being shuffled. And all the way, working so effortlessly as you do together. Awesome.
You're such a team.
You are. I love it. Perfect shuffle.
You should see us shampoo today.
Now look, would you agree those are really well mixed?
Yeah, I would, okay. Unfortunately, yeah.
Now I'll say this. There is only one other shuffle that mixes the cards in a more thorough way. And this is a shuffle that is preferred by children and drunks. Like that, okay? Now, look, we even drops them on the floor. It doesn't matter. The cards are completely mixed up. In fact, why don't you guys get in there? Feel like a kid again. I want you to go ahead, turn them over, mix up, face down, do whatever you like. Give them a nice little mix. You feel pretty good about that?
Actually, it's starting to make me feel worse and worse.
Oh, okay. Pretty good. Okay, cool. So we'll collect them. That's fine. That's perfect. I'm going to gather up the cards together. And gentlemen, this is my favorite part. Even though the cards have been thoroughly mixed. Look.
I'm going to break your hands.
No. Even though they're mixed, I'm going to find your 2 cards, which is really impressive. Because you haven't even picked them yet.
That's true.
I get excited by the shuffling, okay? So let's do this here. I'll go through here, face up or face down. Here's what I like you to do. Reach in there and grab one out, face up or face down. I know, it's your choice. It's absolutely your choice. Face up, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I got it. Truthfully, it doesn't matter what the card is. If I know it, it's okay. What matters is which way you take it out. So would you please reach in there, take another one for me if you would? And you've got another one face up. Very nice. The 3 of clubs. I love it. So now, gentlemen, you can put the card back in. You remembered it. You showed it to the camera. You can put it back in any way you like, face up or face down. It's completely up to you. Yeah, slide it in there. Absolutely. So you see it going in. And which way? Do you want to put it back in face up or
face down?
Great. Slide it right in there for me. If you look, we'll even leave it sticking out so you see it there up until the very last moment. Now look, at this point, some cards are face up, some cards are face down. Look, I'm not even going to touch them. I'm just going to sit there. And if I let them sit there, they start to move all on their own. They start to turn over. So now every card is facing the right way. Every card is now face up, except for one. Except for 2, the only 2. And hopefully, lucky for me, they are your 2 cards.
Kimrat, ladies and gentlemen. Gentlemen, you can take your seats. Are you taking the cards with you? Is that okay?
It is absolutely
fine. Of course it's okay.
Take a few of them. I think we've got a rough idea how this might be heading, but come and join me around the front here.
Thank you.
Let the guys sit down. Ladies and gentlemen, how spectacular was that? And you know, who doesn't love to see Penn pissed off like that? I mean, he's in a terrible mood now, but that was really quite special indeed. This trick, is this one that you've come up with? Or
yes, it is. Okay, absolutely. Yeah, you know, some magicians, we create the magic. That's what we love to do. So absolutely.
So really, the chance of them getting this, certainly, if they do, it will be having seen it for this first time, not knowing similar tricks in the past.
Absolutely right.
Now, I'm hoping that you will be back here on stage performing with them. Would that mean a lot to you? Are you a fan of these guys?
Oh, absolutely. I've been a fan for such a long time, and it's a pleasure. I mean, to be back here in Vegas on the stage would be wonderful.
I think we're ready to hear your verdict. Mr. Penn and Mr. Teller, what do you have to say?
Okay. I want to say right up front, I hate you. Let's get that out of the way. There is a bias here. I hated the way you looked. I hated the way you cleanly handled the deck of cards. I hated that I knew the punchline when you started. I hated that it was clean all the way through. I hated that I should have known it. I hated it from the moment you walked out. I tell you, when I saw him sitting there with his beady little eyes, I wanted you as dead as a hammer.
I feel the love. Thank you.
Right there. No, you don't feel any love. You feel nothing but hate. I knew you were going to fool me from the moment I saw you sitting there, and yes, you did, but who cares? Wait a minute. No, it's not. 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 Stop it. Stop. Shut up. Shut up. Bring that back into the air.
Hold it. You didn't. Okay,
bring that back up.
Put it back. Put it back.
You fooled me. You know for a fact that it's hard to say the word big without covering it with dumb. You fooled the big dumb guy. That doesn't mean jack. 2/3 of the people on here fool the big dumb guy. When you bring that thing down, when you say fooler, 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 is when you fool Teller. And Teller handled the cards, and he looked at it, and he thought about it, and you fooled him. You fooled Teller. Now break it down. Bring it down. Now it's a fool.
Wow. Here comes.
Hope you choke on it.
Ladies and gentlemen, the fabulous Kostya Kirlet, ladies and gentlemen. He did it. He fooled Penn. Nice job. Great job. Well done. We'll be right back with more magic. Don't go away. Welcome back to Fool Us. Now, one act has already stumped Penn and Teller and earned the priceless opportunity to perform alongside them in their amazing Vegas show. Do I hear two? Let's meet our next potential fooler.
Hello, I'm Frederick Fall, and I'm a close-up magician. The lifestyle of any performing artist is hard when they're first starting out. Like having the life experience of having been in the military really helped me a lot to prepare for that. Everything goes into creating a character. When I put on the wardrobe, when I get ready for a show, I go from being just another tall, blonde, young guy to this character. There are a lot of correlations between the character that I've created and why so much of the magic that I create has to do with time. That's what interests me.
Please welcome Frederick Fall.
Now, before I begin, I will need the assistance of one volunteer. Jonathan, I wonder if you might assist me with this.
Oh, certainly.
Thank you.
Well, you know what? I was going to maybe get someone else to do this for you. Is that okay?
That's perfect,
I'll tell you why,
certainly.
because there's a friend of mine who's over from England, and I thought it'd be fun to have someone else on stage anyway. We haven't met. You didn't know I was going to do this, but you will know him, ladies and gentlemen. He's one of the stars of Star Trek, the Mission Impossible films with Tom Cruise, his own film, Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, so many more. Mr. Simon Pegg is right here. Come on, Simon.
Yes.
Welcome to Vegas, baby. How are you guys doing?
Hello, there you go. Well, thank you, Simon. This is a treat. This is amazing. Trying to let this distract me too much. Simon, since I was a little kid, I have always been fascinated with the idea of time and how we, as humans, how we perceive and quantify it, how we measure it with clocks and calendars. Not only that, but how it affects us. So I devised this little experiment to measure just that. Simon, your job is very easy. And really, the time on this watch is completely irrelevant, as you will see in just a few moments. So, Simon, all I would like you to do is extend your index and thumb. I'm going to turn the watch face down. The reason I'm doing this is obviously so I cannot see what you're doing, and I want this to be random for you. Simon, just spin the stem on that watch until you are satisfied. And when you are, we will proceed.
Okay.
Okay, now push in the stem. That's very important. Make sure you feel it click. You felt it click?
It went in.
This watch is now set. I cannot further adjust this watch, okay? Nobody can. Now, I'm going to show the camera the time that you stopped at. Now, I realize there's two Jumbotrons on either side of me, so while I do this, I'm going to face the back wall, all right? Remember this time, okay? Do my best not to see. You got it?
Yes.
Okay. Now, if you would please put both of your hands out in front of you like this, but palms facing each other like a sandwich, okay? Vertical. Yep, there we go.
Got it.
Lift it up. I'm just going to sandwich that right in there. Now, yeah, you can put them down on the table.
Okay.
Whatever happens, do not move from that spot. We'll get back to you. Now, here's where the envelope comes in. I have one piece of paper, and all this has on it is a blank clock face. All right. Simon, what I would like you to do is out there in space, just imagine this clock, this blank clock, but about 40 feet bigger, okay?
Okay.
And just project the hands, the time on the watch that you stopped at, project the hands onto that clock, all right?
Got it.
And I'm writing this down in Sharpie, permanent markers, so I can't change my mind later. I'm committed to this, whatever happens. You know what? I got ahead of myself. I have a little insurance policy. If this doesn't work for whatever reason, sometimes magic goes that way, you get to keep whatever's in here. Just as a little consolation prize. I'm all about customer satisfaction. All right. Go.
Okay.
Now, before I go any further, Simon, for the very first time out loud, what was the time that you stopped at, that you saw on the watch for everybody?
I forgot. No, I think it was 10 to 5.
10 to 5, as I say. Please remember, otherwise this will be a spectacular waste of time. So thank you for remembering that. 10 minutes to 5. So what, 4:50?
Yeah.
Magic is a beautiful thing when it works. But every now and again, things don't go quite the way you wanted them to. Thankfully, that is not tonight. Simon, that is exactly what I got. 4:50. Thank you. Now, Simon, it's interesting that you stopped at that particular moment, and here's why, and this is where I'm getting back full circle with the way we perceive and experience time. Simon, time really, it's all in our heads, really. And the reason I know that is because there are no hands on that watch whatsoever. Look at it, take a look. Thankfully, it worked, so I get to keep my consolation prize. But just for fun, this is what you would have gotten. These are old Morgan silver dollars. These are $1 a piece. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 silver dollars. And this is a Walking Liberty 50-cent piece. This is 50 cents. $4.50, and you stopped at $4.50.
Thank you to Mr. Simon Pegg. You can go back to your seat. Good job, Simon. Let's see it. Frederick Ford, ladies and gentlemen. That was incredible. Fabulous work. I I love the way you dress. It's kind of Victorian or Edwardian, gentlemen.
Right somewhere in the middle, early 1900s.
How long have you been doing this sort of routine with that sort of routine?
When I left the military and I moved to Los Angeles and became a full-time member of the Hollywood Magic Castle, I knew I had to create some kind of character.
If you do for them, what would it mean for you? Already, I guess, fairly well established if you're over there at the Magic Castle.
There were a lot of people when I was growing up and then the military, and then they said, you want to go move to where and become a member of what?
So this would be a good revenge in those...
Not that I'm not a spiteful person, but in a way it would be very internally satisfying.
If you want to turn that camera and just say you to all.
No, I won't do it. I'll be a good person.
Oh, thanks. That makes me a better... Oh, thank you. Okay. Penn, would you like to give us your verdict?
Yes. What really amazed us was that you actually had Simon Pegg on stage.
Right?
Which
That
is
was magic. It's
pretty good. Since Shaun of the Dead, we have just been out of our minds for Simon Pegg. He's just fabulous. Simon's wearing a digital watch. But I would say if we were able to find the one person in the United States of America that's still wearing a regular analog watch, I don't think he would have been able to do that trick.
Yes and no.
It's the end no we're interested in.
Yes.
There's a style of watch, the bezel can be turned.
Yes.
And you can set it up beforehand like that. You can pull it out without changing the time, and you can push it back in. That's what we're saying. I mean, I don't want to say this, but it is a gimmicked watch.
I'm truly not trying to be argumentative and push this into
Well, you're doing a pretty bad job.
No, I truly, yes.
It's within your right to do that.
Yes, the hands, obviously the hands vanish. So, you certainly couldn't inspect the watch, but
I mean, we're going to have to go to Johnny Thompson, I
Well,
believe.
here's the thing. Number one, he's a Marine. He's going to put up a fight.
No, of course.
That's
really, I'm not trying to be belligerent at all.
No, you're not at all. Let's go upstairs, because the final decision can't rest with me. And when there is a little bit of a kind of a grey area, shall we say, we have a man in the house who's backstage called Johnny Thompson, one of the greats in the world of magic. He knows everything about this, so I'm going to ask for them to give me their decision. The verdict is, you did not fool them. I'm afraid. But you fooled the rest of us, and that's kind of what counts in one way. It was a great performance. Mr. Frederick Falk, asked him by name. Thanks, Frederick. Take care, man. Good luck. We'll be back in a moment with more incredible tricks, including one by our very own Penn and Teller. We'll be right back. Don't go away. Welcome back to P&TFU, otherwise known as Penn and Teller. Fool us. Let's meet our next potential fooler.
My name is Chris Funk, the Wondrous. The Wondrous means that I am a practitioner of wonder. So the things that I incorporate that make it me would be my sense of humor, my wittiness, my hair. And I incorporate live music into my show to present the magic in a different way. It's kind of miraculous that I'm actually here right now. In January, in the middle of a show, I was doing the Michael Jackson lean, and I tore my Achilles tendon. And the doctors actually said that I shouldn't be walking today. That moment terrified me. Well, I had the mindset that I'm walking. I'm going to suck it up, and I'm going to figure it out. And I've been walking for about 3-4 weeks now, just in time to make it on the show.
Please welcome Chris Funk.
Thank you. Well, it's card trick time, because what's a magic show without an abundance of card tricks? Besides unique and original. Let's get crazy and have a bunch of you select a couple playing cards here. Looks like you three can hardly wait. Control the excitement. I'm going to have the three of you actually just join me right here. Would you mind doing that? Round of applause for the three most spectacular people in this row. Okay. Hello. What is your name?
Sean.
What's your name? Tina. Lexi. All right. I'm going to have you select some playing cards. We're going to do this in the fairest way possible. Sean, I'm going to have you cut off about half the cards, if you will, please. Beautiful. And I want you to turn them face up like that with a good little flare of the wrist, if you don't mind. Fantastic. And put them down face up right on top of this pack here. Face up? Yes. Excellent. What we've done is we've marked a spot. We've marked a spot with some face up cards meeting some face down cards. I'm going to have you take that first face down card. I want you to memorize it. You're going to take the next card, memorize it. You're going to take the last card, memorize it. Go ahead, memorize the cards. There's a little camera lurking behind you. What I'm going to have you do is show that camera. I'm going to turn my back. I don't want to see a thing. Ready? Do it. Have you done it? Are you still there?
We're here.
Okay, good. I want you to place the cards back anywhere in the deck that you would like. Go ahead, Tina. Lisa, go ahead. Very good. Sean, I'm going to get you to give him a quick little mix-up just like this, if you don't mind. Beautiful. Round of applause. And take your seat. Didn't always know I was going to be a magician. No, I thought I was going to be a musician. Let me rephrase that. I was told I was going to be a musician. Anyone feeling my pain? Anyone? A couple of you? Yeah. Parents broke the news to me at the age of 6 when they told me I'd be taking music lessons on the violin. Pretty awesome. Anyways, I'd always wondered what it would have been like if I'd combined my love of music with my love of magic. Well, now is the time, and this is the place. I learned that music was powerful. Music had the ability to move hearts, minds, booty, and this evening, playing cards. Starting with you, sir. I'd like you to name the card that you selected out loud for everyone to hear.
4 of spades.
4 of spades. All right. It's a small number, a little number, a fun number. Sounds like a job for Mozart. We're going to play Name That Tune. Get your phones out and Shazam it. The card you selected was?
The King of Hearts.
The King of Hearts. Ooh, hearts love, love romance. Penn, I'd like you to name a composer, anyone at all.
Scott
Bach,
Joplin.
perfect. Let's do something with Bach. Tell her what I need you to do is name a song by Bach. Beret D major, I couldn't have picked a better one myself. Good choice, my friend. Beret D major by Bach, King of Hearts, romance. Last but not least, the card you selected was?
Ace of Spades.
Ace of Spades. Ooh, nice. We got to do something special for the most special card in the deck.
Piece of work. This one. Awesome. So Penn and Teller are going to chat to each other, see if they know what's going on. First of all, we can't start without talking about your magnificent pompadour up there.
Thank you. Did you want to try it on?
It's fantastic. Where do you look for inspiration? When you're developing something like this, when you're working on a new illusion, what inspires you?
I try to look for my inspiration in the most unusual places possible. So it could be the way I see someone dressed one day might spark an idea in my head, or a song that I listen to on repeat might just make me think differently about a concept. That's where this violin routine actually came from. I was listening to a piece and I just felt inspired on the road, and all of a sudden this popped into my head. I got home, I quickly tried it out, it worked, and I was fired up.
Well, I love the ending when you were balancing the violin as well. That alone, I think, was worthy of a round of applause. But certainly the whole effect was fantastic. It looks like P&T have come to the end of their musings. Penn.
You know, I started out, Chris, as a juggler. And there was a time when we went on Broadway that my father came to see the show, and there's no juggling in the show. My father said, it's nice to do all that magic stuff, but you should have one place in the show where you juggle so the audience knows you know how to do something. It is so wonderful that you can really play the violin.
Thank you.
It's great to see someone who can really do something in all this. What a nice routine. We know about rising cards. It's nice to see a vanishing birdcage being used to vanish something besides the birdcage. And in all your classical music studies, you mentioned Mozart, you mentioned Bach, but you didn't mention our favorite, who is Balducci. Does that ring any bells with you?
One or two?
Okay.
Or perhaps
1, 2, or 3, yeah.
Yes.
So I think we have a pretty good idea how you did it. Beautifully done. Can we tell you enough on that?
So for the rest of us sakes who really don't kind of understand what's going on here, Balducci was enough of a reference and the other things he said to make you accept that you didn't fool them?
I didn't fool them.
You didn't fool them. No. You didn't fool them. You gave the rest of us a tremendous show. It was fabulous. The fabulous Chris Funk. Thank you, Chris. Amazing job. Las Vegas is a gambling town. I'm willing to bet you'll stick around for more Fool Us, so don't go away. Welcome back to Fool Us, the show where magicians try and stump Penn and Teller for a chance to perform with them here in Las Vegas as a part of their legendary nightly show. Let's see if our next magician can pull it off.
My name is Nate Dundee. I am from New York City. I consider myself both a magician and an actor. I always come at magic from an actor's point of view. If something needs to be dark, I go to that dark place. If it needs to be buoyant and happy, I go to that place. If it needs to be creepy and weird, I go to that place. An empty stage is full of possibility. Anything can happen. But art in general is very fragile. A lot can go wrong. A lot does go wrong, but the audience isn't aware of that. Good magic should make you forget the price of milk. Just even for a second. It just captures you for a moment, and then once it's done, you're back where you started.
The hardest thing in magic is to perform without uttering a word, because let's face it, any idiot can talk, but to perform without words is a real challenge. Am I right, fellas? Will you please welcome, proving my point, Mr. Nate Dundee. something very good. That was spectacular. Can I put these down? I'll put these down.
Take them home.
There you go. I adored that performance. I just loved it. That was wonderful, wasn't it? What a joy. Thank you. Is this a traditional act? Is this an old kind of routine that the guys might have seen elsewhere, or is it new?
This trick is based off of a very old trick, and I just decided to use it with confetti instead of sand, which is what it normally is used with.
So they might know the history of it because they're pretty well versed.
The plot, they definitely know.
Yeah.
But the trick itself is something I came up with.
And is that a substantial enough wrinkle to pull the wool over their eyes, do you think?
I don't know. They're very smart, both of them.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's go over to the guys then.
A beautiful performance. And you mentioned the sands of the desert.
Yeah.
I happen to be, I believe, the only magician in this country that likes that trick. I love that trick. But, we did not all the way through, of course, see the hat empty. And one of the techniques that's used in magic that I just love is when you need to get rid of some evidence, to get rid of that evidence in a mistake. And that's a wonderful use of that. It makes it really, really pretty. It makes it so you are completely clean at the end, whereas you wouldn't be without that mistake. Now, normally, when magicians do a mistake like that, it is pretty clear they're doing that. But you had so much comedy with it. It was tied so much with a magic wand and so beautifully done that would have blown by anybody unless you were a little smarter than the average bear. But it was a wonderful, wonderful act. I don't want to go into it too much more if you feel that's enough, because I don't want to bust it, because this is an act that could become a classic, and you should be doing the rest of your life.
I tip my hat to both of you.
Nate, that was just a beautiful thing to watch. I enjoyed it. Wasn't it gorgeous, ladies and gentlemen? Piece of entertainment. Thank you, Nate Dendy. Thank you so much, sir. We need to take a quick break, but don't be fooled. We will be right back with more magic, including a dazzling trick from Penn and Teller. Don't go away. Now let's finish with a bang. Here's a trick from the most magical pairing since chocolate and peanut butter, of course. It's Penn and Teller.
And after doing Fool Us for a while, I get asked now and again what trick that I've seen fooled me the worst. It's one of the baddest trick I've ever seen. And the trick that fooled me the worst, the trick that was done for me by Teller. And Teller's agreed to do it again for me tonight. But I don't want to do it for me, because I've already seen it. I want to do it for somebody else. I want someone to play the part of me, someone to be Penn Jillette up here on stage. How about you, sir? What's your name, please, sir?
Charlie.
Charlie. Okay, I'm going to call you Penn. Doesn't matter up here, Charlie. Well, I picked a good choice. Look just like me, Charlie. Right up here, Charlie. That's Penn there. And just stand over there right next to Teller and just face off stage right there. Would you please right there? Yeah, face off stage. Let's get you being a little more Penn-like. We'll give you some glasses and we'll give you a ponytail right there. And there you are. Perfect match, isn't it? I'm not going to leave you hanging here, Charlie. We're going to give you a headset. Put that headset on. I'll be able to talk to you through this microphone over here. Tell you what to say and do. Is that microphone on? Give it a try.
Hello?
Yeah, that seems okay. I'm going to talk to you right over here. Okay, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Good, say. Good evening. My name is Penn Jillette.
Good evening. My name is Penn Jillette.
I talk louder than that. Lean into it. Move your arms a lot. Let's say it. Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Penn Jillette.
Beautiful. Now point to Teller. And this is my partner, Teller.
And this is my partner, Teller.
We're Penn and Teller.
We are Penn and Teller.
Now flash the peace sign. There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, and now the trick that Teller uses that always fools Penn. Ladies and gentlemen, Penn and Teller! Teller pulled out a perfectly ordinary deck of cards.
Teller pulled out an ordinary deck of cards.
He fanned them out, and I took one at random.
He fanned them out, and I'm going to take one at random.
I looked at it and memorized it.
I looked at it and memorized it.
It was the Queen of Hearts.
It was the Queen of Hearts.
But there's no way Teller could have known that.
But there's no way Teller could have known that.
I put the card back in the deck.
I put the card back in the deck.
And Teller shuffled them up real good.
And Teller shuffled them up really good.
Teller then bragged he would pull my card out of thin air.
Teller then bragged he would pull it out of thin air.
Teller walked over and got to that thing with the fans underneath it.
Teller walked over to that Ding with the fans in it.
He put the cards on the floor.
He put the cards on the floor.
He turned on the fans.
He turned on the fans.
The air was filled with cards.
The air was filled with cards.
How would he find my Queen of Hearts in pitch darkness?
How would he find my Queen of Hearts in pitch
And
darkness?
suddenly, the Queen of Hearts.
Suddenly, the Queen of Hearts.
My name is Penn Gillette.
My name is Penn.